Hi, I'm Kevin Klein, City Councillor for Charleswood, Tuxedo, Westwood. I've had a number of people ask me why I stood at City Council in January and said this was embarrassing. Well, it deserves an answer. Because it was. We were debating so many minuscule items. We were spending half hour, 45 minutes, sometimes more than an hour, talking about the most minor of issues, items that don't impact your daily life. Things you probably don't even care about, and why would you? This time it was about buttons. It was an election promise of somebody to get electronic voting for buttons instead of standing up. Really? And we kept going on and on about it. What is this going to do for our city during COVID-19? We have restaurants that are on the verge of closing forever. Other small businesses that may not reopen. Our economy is not as good or strong as we would like to believe it is right now. And every day we're in more restrictions, it gets worse. We should be dealing with issues of importance to you. But instead, we're talking about somebody's election promise for buttons.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I know that we often will like to take little shots at each other and criticize some that have been in the private sector or whatever, but this is embarrassing. I'm sorry. This is simply embarrassing. We stand and be counted on important issues. The buttons appear to me to be nothing more than political posturing. We can stand and be counted. I don't know what the problem is with that. I don't know why we're looking to put projects in. Let's look around at what's happening here today. I mean, we often will hear colleagues use voting patterns of one against another. Why? We're not a party system, I thought. We're all supposed to be collaborative and open and transparent and a team. We have social media posts that will condemn from assistants, condemning other councillors. Why? I'm not saying I'm innocent, but aren't you tired of it now? This has been 2 years for me in this world, and my gosh, really? It's like we should all be sent to our room. Ooh. It's just enough. Why can't we get along? What is the power grab that you're looking for? What is the power that you think that you will gain?
You're directing your speech to the deputy?
Yes, sir, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Okay.
So I'm asking through you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, don't we have more important things to do? This is about leadership and change right now. I watched governance this past few weeks, Mr. Speaker, and I heard Councillor Chambers say, when discussing the mayor's expenses and the accountability, something along the lines of we shouldn't be questioning people's integrity. And Councillor Orlico, on the same topic of the mayor's expenses and accountability, that don't we have more important things to discuss? Yes. 87 murders in 24 months. That's during our time. 6 consecutive years of increased violent crime. 6 years of decreased services to residents. I'd like to get on to some issues that will actually make a difference.
Brandon City Council worked apparently through the weekend and such, and they had meetings about how they were going to help their residents during COVID. And they've found a way to lower property taxes and still improve their services and do some other reallocation of dollars so that they were helpful to the residents. This is what we do. We debate whether or not we should send a letter to the province or send a letter demanding we want things our way, or making our point be known. We debate and have a council vote on whether or not someone should send a letter. If you want to send a letter, send it. Let's move on to more important issues at the City of Winnipeg. We are not having discussions about the current financial crisis that we are facing. Now, You hear no real deep discussion or any indication that we're trying to save money other than the 30,000-foot level. Oh, every department's doing what they can to save money. Really? I need more than that. I'd like to know how, where, how long for. Have they cut staff? Are they looking at other expenditures to cut? How long is the prediction? How long will they have to do this for? Where can they save more money? Have we stopped buying vehicles during this time? Have we stopped getting more new vehicles at this time, or do we keep buying new ones? That's the kind of discussion that I think we should be having to save your money for later, because we're probably going to need it later. Last year we got very lucky. The provincial and federal government gave us over $100 million in free money, grants. We were lucky. That might not happen this time. Where are they going to get that money? It all comes from you. Transit ridership is down. Way down. We're not talking about ways to save. We're not talking about any of that. We're having great grandiose conversations about policy on the environment, and we're having all of these politicians, establishing where they stand on the environment, and meanwhile they all voted to buy more diesel buses. When we make electric buses right here, we're not talking about the fact that we don't know how many staff were laid off. And were they full-time staff or part-time staff? We know some of them have got called back, but for how long? How many staff are still working from home, and how long have they been working from home? Have some of the City of Winnipeg staff been working at home since last March? 87 murders in 24 months. That's on us. Violent crime in the City of Winnipeg has increased for 6 consecutive years, going on 7. We have the second highest expense account for a mayor's office in the country. Not for a certain size of city, in the country. The mayor's office account expenses are only second to Toronto. 1.8 million for us. That's more than Vancouver. That's more than Montreal. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about cutting that in half to help the city, to help small businesses that are suffering. We're not talking about that. Not at all. We're just not talking about the important issues. And I want to talk more about those important issues. And that's why I'm trying to speak to as many residents as possible. And I'd be happy to have that conversation with you. Send me an email, kevin@kevinklein.ca, or call the office, 986-5232. Lots coming up because we have lots to do. And we haven't been paying attention for a very long time. That's not on one guy. That's on all of us.